next stop is On the Radar Radio.
Stand clear of the closing doors, please.
Yeah.
Yes, sir, baby. On the Radar Radio. Yo, special guest in the building. Safe is in the building. My guy, welcome to the show. Very excited to have
Thank you, brother. Appreciate you for having me.
How you been, man?
Bro, I'm great, man.
I'm excited to have you.
Yeah, thank you, bro.
I would say
Appreciate it.
welcome to New York, but you've been here so long, and you've lived here for quite a bit of time, too.
Yeah.
Because I was doing like a little extra reading on you. How long did you live in New York for?
I'd say probably like 4 years now.
Oh, you've been here for
been
4
here.
years.
Yeah,
I thought
yeah.
I saw somewhere that they said that you moved here in like, what, 2017?
Nah, man.
2019 is when you moved here.
Yeah. 2019 is when I made that decision to move here from LA.
So you went from Toronto originally?
So I was born in Abu Dhabi. Left
Okay.
there when I was like 3 months. I moved to Toronto. So yeah, I grew up in Toronto. And then from Toronto, like 2017, 2018, I moved to LA.
Okay, that was the LA move. Got you.
Yeah, it was the LA move. And I'm just an East Coast baby. So like I had to come back to the East.
Right. I feel like you miss the cold a little bit sometimes when you live in LA, right?
Kind of felt like every day was the same. You know what I'm saying? Like not growing up in the West, just had that like the weather's just not this like every day is sunny outside, so it just kind of felt like I was in like a simulation, bro.
Yeah, it'd be funny because they'd be like, New York is a twilight zone, and it definitely is the twilight zone, but LA is like really the twilight zone.
Yeah, and LA's, I mean, shout out to all the native LA people because like they're great, but at the same time,
my friends from LA are the best.
Yeah, like they're solid people, but for the most part, it was just like at the time, like majority of my team was based in New York, and everybody was out here, and at the same time, I missed the cold, man. I make like my music is like made for like the winter for the most part, so like I need that cold inspiration. I need a beat. I love the cold. It might sound crazy, but that's me right there.
Nah, same. Like I want to go as far to say that I love the cold, but I'm not gonna lie. When it was like 80 degrees in New York on Saturday, I was kind of pissed.
Yeah, okay, yeah, nah, I feel you.
I was kind of pissed.
Yeah,
I was like, bro, I just put my shit away, and now I gotta bust out like a t-shirt and like, no, I want to dress like this, or I want to dress like how you're dressed.
Yeah,
like I want to dress like cozy. You feel me? Like I want to feel cozy. I hate feeling hot and sticky and sweaty and shit like that.
Facts.
But I'm glad that. But why the decision to New York? You said you're East Coast baby. Was there also like a musical inspiration behind like moving to New York? Was it that just that cold weather, or was it just you felt more creative out here too?
Honestly, so like when I was working on my project Stay, I had recorded like 3 songs specifically in New York, and at the time like those are my 3 favorite songs, and I just felt like it was New York and London where personally like I felt like I recorded like my favorite type of music, and of course like Toronto, but like outside of Toronto it was like New York and London and LA. I've made a lot of songs that like number wise and everything have gotten me to a certain level in my career, but at the same time it was just New York. Just that inspiration where it's like not a lot of people that come, no one comes here to like make music. Everybody comes here to do press and to do like,
True.
Unless you're a New York native and you're born and raised here, then it's different for you. Yeah. But for the most part, it's like, it's just, for me, it's just seeing people outside. I grew up in the city. Like, I just want to see people, you know what I mean? Like I got to be able to walk to the corner store. I got to be able to go, like I grew up walking everywhere.
Yeah.
So like, I just have to be able to step outside and just be able to like, whatever I need, exactly. And it's like, and not everybody it's just it's a lot more real when it comes to like you walk across the street and you'll see someone that's working a regular 9-to-5 job and like, or they're just working, they're not in the specific field I'm in. Right. And like, we don't have to have that conversation of like anything to do with music. You know what I mean? It's just more so just life.
Right. I think it's people like really don't appreciate sometimes like how much like the day-to-day experiences can really influence like probably like you're talking about say like how can it influence like a project like that or even like, GHS, like GHS is very much like I feel like a lot of just like life experiences and day-to-day experiences and like what you go through,
Yeah, very important, especially like just being like a songwriter as well. Like I'm always just writing. So like I need to have that experience with people, you know what I mean? I need to step outside of my own people, like just with other humans, you know what I'm saying? And just having that one-on-one experience and just, whether it's like 2 minutes or just even walking by and hearing like a 30 seconds of someone's conversation and just like, bro, like kind of just
picking up on that and being like, oh, I'm gonna somehow incorporate what I heard them talking about into the project and like,
it's
what
like
I want to do.
We're all kind of similar. Like we're going through things in different ways. You know what I mean?
Right.
And just like even if I'm going through like something, whether it's positive or it's not, then it's just like it's one of those things where it's like, oh shit, like shorty tripping on something that has like it's the wildest shit you be hearing in New York or just in general. So it's like I love New York, man.
What has Safe been going through lately?
Man, for me, it's just I'm a father as well. So like, of course, I have like my daughter. She's 3. Her name's Sumaya. Being a father, just honestly, just going through like life to say the least. You know what I mean? Just more so, just focusing on like my health and like focusing on family and things that really matter. You know what I mean? Those type of things. So like that's where I've been at for the past like I would say past like 2 years, man. You know what I mean? Just mainly focusing on just like, of course, the music comes with it, but at the same time, those are things that really matter to me when it comes to just making sure that the fam's good and of course I'm good. But most importantly, I'm a family oriented person. So like, you know, if I bring somebody in my life, like I gotta like, I treat them with like how I treat my fam. Like, you know, if I hold you to that level. So for the most part, man, like life, bro, life just be life, and sometimes, you know, like.
Yeah, how you been like balancing that too? Like, do you feel like you've been doing a good job of balancing?
I mean, not like being like based. Like I met a lot. Like I have a lot of great friends out here that I've met along the way, and that are just the realest. But at the same time, just like I kind of miss having that like homie from like that homie from Toronto that just be like, "Steve, you ain't shit, nigga," type shit. You know what I mean? Like they give me that like. Kind of remind me of who I was before this type shit. So it's just like, I would say there's times where I'll be missing like my family and friends in Toronto, but I still see them
right
time to time.
It's not that far to go from here to Toronto.
Right here. It's
like
right
an
there.
hour and a half flight, right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
But like for the longest, man, I was just dealing with like a visa situation. Like my visa had expired.
Okay.
And like, you know, it was a lot of things like that like, you know, COVID hit, visa expired, and then I couldn't like leave the country, so like it was just like, you know, certain things that I'm not like I'm not someone that's gonna go online and just be like, yo, like I can't do X, Y, and Z because of this situation. But for the most part now, like I got my green card, and like God bless, like I'm in a different position in my life where now I can move around freely outside of like America and stuff. And like, you know, these are good problems to have, not the worst, but at the same time, like it's still like, you know, when you want to go back home, or like when you're dealing with death and you're dealing with like birth and you're dealing with all these things where you want to be present, you want to be there, and you can't. It's like that takes a big toll on you mentally, and like, you know, that of course goes into you physically, and like you start to feel these things, you know. So for the most part, bro, just like, yeah, man, just been going through life, bro, like life shit, man.
I understand. You know, do you feel like any of that kind of fueled GHS too, or no?
Yeah, for sure. I feel like for the most part with GHS too, I feel like I was really like touching base on like my vulnerability, and just like, of course, I'm open to like talking about like, you know, relationship situations and those type of things. But for the most part, I feel like a lot of those stuff like kind of went into these songs from like even a Rent Free record, where it's like, yeah, I got a lot of love songs, but like if you listen to Rent Free, it's like, yo, it's like, I know like I say a lyric in that song where like, I know a weapon can't protect me. I know if I don't pray, I won't feel alive. Like, you know what I mean? So like these are certain things that I know at the end of the day, like it taps into like, you know, me being Muslim and just me being like a man of God, like walking with that. So it's just like all these things, like from all that I'm going through, it all pours into my music. And I make a lot of music, and I'm not saying that in a way where it's like, oh, I have like 500 songs in my drive. It's more so like I have a lot of songs, and I'm not stopping. I'm still making more music. So it's just like, all right, Get Home Safe Part 2 is like, let me take a lot of songs that sit well with each other, but they're also, of course, they have to be like shit that I'm in love with. But for the most part, Get Home Safe Part 2, I would say definitely taps into everything I'm going through, man.
Right, you know, I like what you specifically said about vulnerability, because it's so funny. I'm always having these conversations with Canadians. Because I had Division on the show earlier this year, right?
Shout out my guys.
And we had this amazing conversation about vulnerability in R&B, in the music, right? And I feel like a lot of this with the stuff that they had done on their project this year kind of opened, and also like someone, you know, people like Giveon as well, who have come out making songs about, you know, like Heartbreak Anniversary. Like they've opened like a lot more doors to conversations about vulnerability from men in music, right? And one of the things that they implored in their conversation with me was that, you know, you don't always have to be the hero anymore in your story. You know what I'm saying? You can be someone who's going through shit, you know. I think I'm not sure it was them or somebody or another R&B artist came on the show was like, "Yo, this ain't 1999. We don't want to hear people singing in the rain no more. Like we going through some shit too." And even like you're talking about the song Rent Free, but even you talk about like the green card situation, not being able to travel and not even being able to go home in certain instances because of your situation. And I think that's also part of like in my mind like a connection to get home safe because you trying to get home too. You know what I'm saying? So like it's interesting that duality of like talking about or allowing yourself to be open and be vulnerable in like a space that traditionally men have always kind of been like are so high on like a pedestal on,
Absolutely. I agree, man. I totally agree. And see, like these things, just like for the most part, like there's times when I'm creating and I'm like, bro, what the fuck? Like, am I saying? I'm like, bro, and then I always have to remind myself, it's like this all makes sense, but just not in the moment. Because when you look at it from like the surface level of like when you're in the middle of it, it's kind of like, oh shit, like, what the fuck's going on? But then when you look at it from like a bird's eye view after like it's finished, you're like, oh shit, that's like damn, like I am a goat, like you know what I mean, like. But like for the most part, it's like it all has to like, I have to feel it in my heart, you know what I'm saying? So a lot of these songs, like, if I don't feel it, then like how's anybody else gonna feel it? So like so for me, it's like when it comes to a lot of these songs on Get Home Safe Part 2, it's like yeah, like there's like there's like 2-3 songs on there actually that are like 2 years. I recorded 2 years ago, but I still feel the same way than when I recorded that two years ago now. You know what I mean? So like, I know like time will tell with these songs, and now that I'm independent, it's like now I gotta like move a different way when it comes to like promoting these songs and just like.
So you're fully independent now?
Yeah.
Oh wow. Okay. Congrats.
Yeah. Thank you, bro. Thank you. So now it's just like it's a lot more like on the floor, like moving around, but it ain't nothing, bro.
How do you feel now being independent?
I feel like almost like a weight off my shoulder, because like also like being with a label and not like kind of being an established artist already, it's like even though they signed you to the label, it almost feels like you're auditioning still. You know what I mean? Because they still have say in what you're doing, and they still have like, oh, you shouldn't do this, and that's what I've been dealing with. I can't lie, for a long time in my career, like outside of like my team is my team. You know what I mean? But like. Outside of my team, when like I involve people and they're like, oh, we should split this up, we should do this and that, and I'm like, I have a certain vision for it, and it's like I don't like that just doesn't work for me, you know what I mean? So for the most part, just having like 100% creative control now of my shit, it just makes it way more fun. It reminds me of like when I first started doing this shit, and like it's just like it's like it gives me that like reassurance of like, like you're independent, but it ain't nothing. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like it's even, I almost get excited now that I'm independent. You know what I mean? So I'm just like, okay, I can move how I want. I can do like things that I wanted to do.
Less red tape.
Type shit, exactly.
Yeah. Like I think that there's good sides to both, but I could definitely understand how it's like if you're not like an established artist, like it's tough because it's like if you don't have the most well streamed song, sometimes labels might not always be willing to push certain things, and that's okay because that's just how it is. But
because even then, so you like sorry to cut you off, but because you just made me you reminded me about something, but even for the most part, like you're still gonna have to do groundwork. Like, you're still going to have to work, even if you're signed to a label, you're still going to have to go and cut these records. You're still going to have to do certain things. And you're still going to have to bring the best out of these people you work with, like, regardless if you're signed or not. Because at the end of the day, it's like when you look at it, like, even when it comes to, like a record that I have, like, Playboi Carti or, like, Khalid, it's like, shout out to Dash and shout out to Steve-O. But, like, I met Carti, like, in Toronto, like, in 2015 when I was young and moving around with my homies. He came to the studio, like, it was me, Smoke, God rest his soul, and, like, Murder was there. And, like, it was a lot of us that were just, like, getting our feet off the ground. But, like, these are things that, like, and then when Dash played in my song in the studio, he's like, oh, shit, this shit's hard. He's like, who's that? He's like, yo, Safe. He's like, oh, fuck. Like I know Safe. Like, let me jump on that. So, like, if I didn't do that groundwork before, if I wasn't already like moving around, then like it just would have been another good song.
Yeah, you know I always tell artists like when they sign to a label, that's like when the real work starts. Like
exactly, man.
Like what they did before, like, and you got to kind of keep that same energy that you had like before you signed, like when you go into it, because that's what made you hot in the first place. And a lot of artists, like, they go wrong because like they lose that energy and they don't have that same type of like motivation that they had when they got signed, because they think like once they're signed, they're like, all right, I'm good, everybody gonna do everything for me now.
Exactly, bro.
But like that's not how that goes. That's
cap. They just add fuel to the fire, which is, of course, labels are great, man. Like as in, like, they'll get you to the next level. But for the most part, man, like I feel like I'm just in a really great place when it comes to, I just want to put shit out, shoot shit, do shit that I love to do, and not like wait. You know what I'm saying?
Right. Now I understand. Like you can tell, even like with this project, because like I mean, you've always like not had a lot of features on projects, but this
Yeah.
you just had one, right? And it was, you know, in the past it's been like two-ish, I think, on
Yeah.
the past projects. But like you could tell that this project felt very just more like personal and kind of like a return to like form of like your creative mindset with like what you've
Yeah.
been making too. Especially even, you know, some of the records like you said are 2 years old.
Yeah, facts, man. There's such a connection to like, especially when I get in the studio with people that like I actually like make me feel comfortable in the studio. It's so much easier to make songs. Like my broski Aiden, like great producer, great engineer. He plays wild instruments. Like yo, anytime we're locked in, we'll do like 3 to 5 songs, and like these are songs, or like we'll do one really really fire song that I fuck with. But for the most part, it's just easy to like work. Like, you know, it doesn't feel like I'm working. So like I love just like being in a space like that and just being with people that I'm like, I don't even gotta think about it. It's just like they understand, or if I'm like trying to switch, not feeling a line, he'll already tell and be like, oh, maybe you should like just take a break, go smoke your spliff, come back. Like, you know, just like, you're right, bro.
Right.
You know, so it's like people that understand you and understand that like, all right, bro, you should just go drink some water. You should go do something, just chill for a second and come back to it. So it's just, you know, like just being with people that understand you and working with them, it's always cool.
Right. What do you feel like with Get Home Safe Part 2, like what record on it is like the most personal to you in terms of like, you know, maybe like the most difficult for you to like put out or maybe even listen to?
I'd say the intro, like Don't Sit Right.
Okay.
I would say that. I'll say that just because when I recorded it and like everything at the moment what I was going through, it just hit different. I still feel that way when I hear the intro. Like I'm like, yeah, Don't Sit Right. Don't Sit Right hits different, man.
Why is that for you?
I just feel like everything on that song, like the reason why I even made it the intro was because it felt the most personal.
Okay.
So like from the production to like the lyrics to the melody choices, like it just hits different for me every time I hear it. But yeah, definitely Don't Sit Right.
So where do we go from here, right? Because we waited a couple years for Part 2, right? Are you a trilogy person?
So
Like,
basically,
are you going to be more consistent now? Because there have been spaces in like your releases. Like, where are you at kind of now mentally? Where do you go from Part 2 forward?
So from here, I'm gonna be releasing a lot of music and just. But after this, I'm gonna put together Part 1, Part 2, and then a deluxe as like a trilogy.
Nice. Okay.
Close that chapter out, and then actually get into like my debut album sometime next year. So,
Is it so crazy that you're calling it your debut album?
Yeah, I've never called any of my
I
projects
know.
like.
Isn't it crazy that you're talking about a debut album
Yeah,
like
it's wild.
8 years in, 7
8
years
years in,
something like that?
facts, man. I remember the first time the first deal I signed was with Epic with L.A. Reid, and I remember I met L.A. Reid introduced me to Rick Ross that day, and I remember Ross looked at me. He was like, Reid was like, "Yo, this is a new cat we just signed to the label, Safe from Toronto, this, that." And then Ross looking at me, he's like, "I'm releasing my ninth project right now. So when you drop yours, holla." And I'm just like, I just thought about it in that moment, like, homie about to release his 9th project. I just released my first project, like, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And like he's still out here, like in the label, talking to these people, moving around, like doing his thing. And I'm just like, man, like, I have so much to learn. You know what I mean? And then like you said, like now it's been 8 years and I haven't, and there's only been like probably 3 projects I've dropped now.
Yeah.
So it's just like now to call it like a debut album, it's just like
Crazy.
it's crazy because there's so much music in the tank and there's only more that I'm recording. So it's just like I'm like, you know, and there's certain things that I haven't really touched bases on, like I said, like talking about my visa situation or talking about like real personal things that I'm going to talk about on my album, that I have songs that I've already touched base on that I'm like just waiting. I've been waiting to drop to use these songs for my album.
Right.
So like I'm just like at a place right now where I'm just like, let me just slowly like just start releasing music and getting it out there, because that's the most important thing, bro. That's why we release music, because it's not ours anymore. We release it out to the world, and that's all that matters. When you release it, everything else will come. You know what I'm saying? I'm not in a place where I'm playing like a numbers game this time. I'm like, yo, good music, great music will like exceed that. You know what I'm saying? It'll whether it's a year, 2 years, 3 years, it's like a good song's a good song. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, yeah. Well, I'm excited for the next chapter for you, bro.
I appreciate that.
So the deluxe is gonna serve as like part 3.
Yeah, it's gonna be like a part 3 situation.
Okay, cool. And then we're gonna close this chapter. We're gonna
Close
work on
it
the
out.
debut album. Fire,
Facts,
man. Well,
facts.
look, man. Thank you again for pulling up today.
Yeah, thank you for having me, bro.
Freestyle now. By the time y'all see this, you know what I'm saying. Get on
Cheers.
Safe Part 2 out now. So please go run that up when you see this too.
Run it up.
Before we get up out of here, anything else you want to let the people know where they can follow you at, all that good stuff? Now's the time to do it. This camera on the right here.
Okay, right here. Yeah, you can follow me at Bandom416 on Twitter, Instagram, Snapchat, all that. But yeah, Get Home Safe Part 2 out now. I need you guys to go stream that and let me know your favorite songs.
There you go. Get Home Safe Part 2 out now. Freestyle now. Go follow him. Go show him some love. Go show him some support. Love is free. Sport's free. But y'all already knew that. Till next time, safe on the radar. Yo.
Radar. My G.